the Ballpark Village in Busch Stadium. We were the first band to ever play on that stage. The place is packed with people, and I get up there and play, and it was an awesome feeling. And from then on, it was like, man, that's what I want to do. And we played an REO song with Gary Richrath. That's one of my favorite times.
Do you remember?
My parents bought me a drum set for Christmas when I was about 10 years old, and I had a little old Rogers drum set, and I beat on it a little bit, but never really got serious. And then a couple years later, when I was about 12 years old, I met some friends who one of them played guitar, and his uncle was a drummer. And so meeting them guys really got me pumped about playing music, and I started taking some drum lessons, learning some stuff from a guy named Dave Grove, and from then on, it's been balls to the wall all the time. When I was about 12 years old, I'd play every day, all day long, play along with my dad's old records and headphones and just all the old good stuff like Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, everything, REO. A lot of classic rock is what I started playing. Parents used to take me out and they'd try to get me into these VFWs or anywhere where a band was playing, and my dad would go up and ask the band, hey, can my son get up and play with you? And I was just a little kid, and usually, even you, in fact, was like, yeah, you can get up and play. What song you want to play? So that's kind of where it all started. I took some drum lessons, started jamming with some people. That friend of mine, Dave Grove, introduced me to a guy named Jeff Eaton. I was just a young kid at the time. I think Jeff Eaton and Dave Grove were maybe 23, 24. And Jeff Eaton came over, brought a big amp. I was like, whoa, this guy is a musician, man. He's really good. And we started jamming back then, and that really taught me a lot about jamming. I jammed with Jeff Eaton a lot. Just me and him and different people. And then eventually I played with Jeff Eaton and Baked and the Barflies. And, man, I did that for a long time when I was a teenager. I learned a lot doing that, man. Jeff's an awesome guy. He was a fun guy. God, we got in so much trouble and partied, and I played with Jeff Eaton for lots of years, and he's a good band I was ever in. I guess it wasn't a band. It was one of them friends that I'm talking about. Nick Trimhall was his name, and he'd play guitar, and we would just jam. We would jam up in my attic, and we'd play all kinds of old music, just jamming around, and that kind of turned into a couple neighborhood kids or guys we went to school with would come over, and bass player would show up once in a while, or somebody would try to sing once in a while, and that was kind of the start of it all. I guess the first real band I was in that I actually started playing out a lot, gigging a lot, was with Yellow Snow. It was fun. We were all young kids, like 15, 16, and
but that was the glory days.
Yeah, and we played big shows every weekend. We packed places. For being 15 and 16, we did really good. We packed places every weekend. It was really fun. We played In Cahoots and the Ivanhoe and all the little bars everybody used to play. Back when bar bands were a really popular thing and everybody used to go out. So it kind of started out, one of the first bands I ever jammed with was with Mickey Schultz. I don't know if you remember her, if you know who that is. John Schultz's sister. She was a singer. So I met her somewhere, and a guy named Scott Likens. You know who that is? Scott Likens, Andy Broke. So we kind of started a band called Who's Alice, and we didn't do much. We played a couple shows. Mostly we just had fun and drank and partied and played in the basement. I learned a lot being in that band and met a lot of other musicians. And that was back when we used to come and watch you guys and get up and play with you guys. And then that kind of turned into, I met Yellow Snow, and that got pretty, for a while, for a cover band, we were popular. We did really good, man. We played great. Bunch of great musicians. We were all young and super fun. From there, let's see, what did I do after that? I know I'm probably skipping a few here. I got in a band called Discord at the time, which slowly evolved into what is Mindset Evolution now. We did covers to begin with, and then we kind of started doing some original stuff. We wrote a couple songs and started to become what's Mindset of Evolution. And then I don't know, something happened there, and I left that. They went on to do that and actually did really good with the Mindset Evolution thing. Them guys were awesome. I kind of there was a little bit of a lull there, a couple of years with kids and houses and careers that I took some breaks, you know, and then the next thing I did was I joined a band with Jeff Logston and Eric Barley, Allison, Rob, who's our bass player now. I joined a country band called Spring Creek Station. That was fun. We played a lot of big country shows, a lot of fairs and festivals, and opened up for some big people.
Those were
awesome.
Fun shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We used to play the 4th of July every year down at the riverfront, which is an awesome gig. And then I landed here on This One's Pink and doing the Pink Floyd stuff. Actually, I wanted to put all that together. I met our guitar player, John. We were going to play some covers and stuff, and we ended up not doing anything except for he started playing a Pink Floyd song, and I started playing along. And then he played another Floyd song, and I started playing along, and we just jammed. So for like a year, every time I'd see John, I'd say, dude, we should get some people together and just play Pink Floyd, see how it goes. It might be awesome.
Right.
So I started asking around about Pink Floyd people, and a name that everybody told me was Danny Gilman. I never even heard of him or met him, but a couple people told me that name, and they're like, dude, if you're going to play Pink Floyd, you got to get a hold of Danny. So I did that, and yeah, we got together and just worked from there. From the very first day, man, we all clicked, and it worked really good together, and has ever since. People that I played with, Jeff Logston is amazing. Everybody knows Jeff's a great player. He's put in the work, he's put in the time, and I've been fortunate enough to be in a band, a couple of different groups with him, and Jeff's amazing. Tim Harr is another amazing guitar player around here. Let's see, Joey Gibbs, the drummer, Joey Gibbs. He's one of the most talented drummers I think I've ever met. He's so good. He's a good guy, and he's done it all. He really has. He's an awesome drummer. My brother Denver is a big influence. Me and him grew up playing together. We both learned how to play the drums at the same time. So we grew up playing together all our life. Me and Denver grew up playing together, playing the drums. He started singing, and then the 3AM project took off, and they're an awesome band. Denver's an awesome musician, very talented guy, talented drummer, and talented singer, good songwriter, which their new album is coming out. It's done, and I've heard it all. It sounds amazing. Mike Lane, amazing musician. There's so many. Josh Thompson, Gary Horry, all them guys that were in Jinx were amazing. Still are amazing musicians.
Yeah.
Ryan Rose. So the guys I'm in a band with now, the Pink Floyd guys, This One's Pink guys, Danny Gilman, is an awesome guitar player, awesome musician, great singer, and all of them people that I just mentioned, a few of them I've been in bands with are just great band members. You know, it's not just about your chops or how good you play. A lot of it has to do with how good you get along with a group of people, and how your ability to make it work with other musicians is just as important as your chops and your ability to play. There's a lot of great drummers around here. Brad Kerwin is one of them. Brad's a great drummer, played for Taxi War Dance. Gary Horry, Eric Yarborough, great drummers. Kenny Peak, I think you're a great drummer, man. You're one of the first people I remember going out and asking to play your drums, and I thought your band was awesome, man. I always thought Mother's Mistake was an awesome band.
Dude.
And I seen you guys before that when you were a cover band, playing in a tribute band. A lot of big advantages, I think. I think you make more money, for one thing. We make more money. We play in a lot more professional setting usually, rather than just playing. We play high level shows instead of just playing bars. Like a cover band gets locked into the bar scene. They go play the little local bars, and you kind of get locked into that and fall into that rut. And that gets old. As a seasoned musician, it gets old really fast doing that. We decided that we would never do that, and This One's Pink would never just be a bar band playing bars. So we turned down a lot of shows like that. And like I said, the money's always there. The quality level, we play on big stages with professional sound and light guys, and makes a huge difference in your attitude. It doesn't get old.
Well, the quality of the show outweighs the quantity of shows.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, we probably played, I don't know, 8 times last year, but they were 8, 7 high quality shows that were really awesome shows I'll never forget. We played Ballpark Village at Busch Stadium last year. We played a festival in Arkansas, way down, basically in the mountains in Arkansas, called Bird Fest. We're doing that again this year. We headlined we played the midnight set on a Saturday night in front of, I don't know, 2,500 people. So we get some really good shows like that, which is awesome. Cover bands are fun, but that gets old fast. If you're just playing bars, the cover band thing gets old. We can all agree. When I first started, I told you that my parents bought me a drum kit. That first drum set was actually an old Rogers drum set. It's probably worth, God knows, thousands of dollars now, and I probably sold it for nothing. But so yeah, that was just whatever I could scrape together, whatever I had the money to buy and scrape together when I was a kid. And then as time went on, you start working and getting some money. And I've always been a Zildjian guy. I've always built Zildjian cymbals. Here lately, I've been playing Zildjian K Customs. I really like the K Customs, A Customs. I use Evans drum heads. You can see the Crush kit behind me, my favorite drum set ever. Right now, I have this clear acrylic Apex. I have a clear acrylic Crush kit, and I also have a maple Mapex 5-piece kit. Love both of them kits. Something else I just incorporated lately is the Roland SPD-X, which is awesome. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to take on, and especially I've never hooked up a piece of electronic gear in my life. I know how to play the drums, and that's it. So I mean, actually, one of these guys had to show me how to plug in the monitor to the back of that Roland. So that's how little I know about it. But load and sound, there's so much to learn about it. It's like controlling a rocket ship. So.
Dude, I feel your pain, man.
It's so hard to do that, and then especially trying to get Pink Floyd sounds patches from here and put it into that, put them on the right pad. It's so much to learn, but I'm just starting to get it, and it's a lot of fun using that electronic pad. Drum sets. I've had so many drum sets. I've had Pearl drum sets. I've had a Pearl Sessions Custom, which I love that drum set. I started out maybe like I had that Rogers. I had a couple Ludwigs over the years. I had a white Sonar kit that actually used to be Brian West. I bought half of that. It was a 24-inch kick drum, and that was an awesome kit. That was a legendary kit. It was Brian West. He owned it. I owned half of it, and somebody else owns half of it right now, and I forget who. So another drummer around here. But that was a beautiful kit. Yeah, that was the one that was in that big cage at one time. So yeah, that kit was awesome. It had a 24-inch bass drum, and I was young and dumb, and I didn't have any cases. I beat it up, man. The other half, I don't even know where it's at now, but the other half of that drum kit is really beat up now. I can tell you that. It still sounds amazing.
Right.
But yeah, my drums, I bet my drum set was set up just like that when I was 13. I haven't changed much. I mean, I keep things about the same. My crashes have always been like that in the same spot. My ride's always been like that. It's how I'm comfortable. A drummer gets comfortable on something, and then if I go to play somebody else's kit, I'm like, whoa, I can't do it.
Right.
Like I said, when I first started, I really listened to a lot of classic rock. I played along to a lot of Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin, Leonard Skinner, Ted Nugent. I played along with a lot of stuff like that, so I really got into John Bonham. I loved John Bonham, especially when I was younger. Still do. He's an amazing drummer, unique. Vinnie Paul from Pantera was a huge influence of mine. I loved Pantera, still love Pantera. There will never be nobody like Vinnie Paul and Pantera ever again. He changed the drum world.
His drums.
Oh, the way his drums sounded, the way he played, everything about it, that's what made Pantera what it is. I have a lot of different influence. Like I said, I listen to a lot of different music. Dave Weckl is an amazing drummer. A lot of the bands I listen to and influential bands are Alice in Chains, like Dave Matthews Band. Carter Buford is an amazing drummer. Dream Theater, I love Dream Theater. Of course, Pink Floyd. I told you I'm a Nine Inch Nails fan. they've had a bunch of different drummers. They always have a different touring drummer. Dave Grohl played on one of their albums. Perfect Circle, Radiohead, 9 Inch Nails. I love those bands. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I'm so into music. I'm always trying to find something new or find the next greatest thing, and I usually find it. So I'm really into music. I like a lot of different stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, as far as influences, some local influence, bands like that. Some bands that really influenced me when I was younger and just starting, like Taxi War Dance. I used to love Taxi War Dance. I was a big fan of Mother's Mistakes. I seen you guys a lot when I was younger. What's some other local bands? 3M Project, my brother's band. They're awesome, man. I think they're one of the best local bands around. 3M Project is. And I've heard their new album. Their new album's really gonna set the bar high for a local album, I think. Musical taste has progressed. When I was young, I was into hard rock, which turned into Metallica, turned into heavy metal, death metal type stuff. And back then I thought there is no other music. I don't care. The only kind of music there is heavy metal, death metal music, and I thought there is nothing else. This is all I'll ever play. Well, then of course you grow up and my mind opened up a little bit. I started listening to every kind of music. I mean, I literally listen to everything nowadays. Playing country music really taught me a lot about keeping things simple, and it also taught me that that simplicity is very important. Leaving the song open for air, and just playing for the song rather than playing to be show off your chops. Or there's lots of stuff you could do. You could do all kinds of great drum stuff, but the song needs what it needs from the drummer,
right.
So you're there to fill that void. So my playing has progressed a lot from playing country. That opened my eyes up to a lot of things. It made me a much better drummer. Playing Pink Floyd, same thing. I never really thought about what Nick Mason was to Pink Floyd. I thought it was very simple drums, but now that I've dug in really deep and listened very closely and played them songs over and over, it's very difficult and there's a lot to it. But playing Pink Floyd has made me a much better drummer. When I was in Chicken Lab and Circled Sun, Steve Campbell was always the guy who pushed me to push my drumming limits, to push it beyond what I could do, and then just to where it was just beyond what I could do, and he'd be like, you have to do that, man, you have to do that. So I worked really hard at it, and I get it where I could do that, and that taught me a lot. Playing, being able to play basically death metal, stuff like that was, there's a lot to that. Made me a lot better drummer. If I could just land in the band and just start all over and get any musicians I wanted, the type of band I would be in would probably be like, actually 9 Inch Nails. I would like to do something like that. Just like a lot of electronic, something like that. Something really different. That's what I'm into. I'm into a lot of, I like 9 Inch Nails a lot. I like Radiohead. I'm into a lot of music like that. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. If I could be in any band, if I could tour with any band I wanted to right now, and they say, you just pick and you're their drummer, I would pick 9 Inch Nails.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Career as a musician, I just want to continue playing as long as I physically can do it, and I just want to have fun. Like I said before, I don't even care about the money. It's not even about the money. It's about the feeling you get from being on stage and playing. It's about that feeling you get from creating music with your friends. That's a good feeling. The money, who cares about the money? If you're able to do that and you have the talent, God's giving you the talent to do that, that's an awesome feeling. As far as this one's Pink, I think our big goal is to find out how to get to that next step. We're doing pretty good, but our goal is to get to that next step where we are really a money maker, but playing bigger venues. There's tribute bands out there that are able to play arenas still, and they're able to play easily, 5,000 seat shows, and they do $10,000 a night. What is the next step? How do you get to that level? There's a way, and it can be done.
Oh, there's that.
We just have to know how to get there.
Yeah,
so.
that British
Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, I see videos and they're like thousands.
They're selling out the Civic Center. I think somebody told me that they were like, to play somewhere like Civic Center, they're like $35,000. That's a tribute band. I mean, granted, they're a tribute band that probably brings 10 semis full of gear with them and a big show, but that is our next step, to just reach the next level of playing bigger shows, to be able to play a theater like the Civic Center and bring that crowd in, and also, you know, just be on that level. It's hard to say, how do you obtain that step when you're, like I said before, we all have families, we all have careers, so is that step even obtainable to a band that doesn't do it full time? I don't know, but that's where we want to go next with this thing. God, there's a lot of them. I just don't remember the early ones, but some of the more recent ones were playing the 4th of July. I already mentioned that, playing the 4th of July at the riverfront with Spring Creek Station. That was a huge outdoor stage set up with a great sound crew, and I mean, you might see a few thousand people that day might see your band, so that was a very memorable gig. I played at Northwoods Church a few times. I got asked to play at a church once, and I did that a few times. That was very memorable because it was a very professional setting. I played with a click track, and the drummer is in control of the tracks, which is not only the tracks, the drummer's in control of the backing tracks too. I did that. It all has to jive with the screens, and it's in front of a lot of people in a very professional setting. That's very memorable. And then with this one's Pink, we've done a good amount of, most of them are memorable gigs. We get very lucky and get a lot of good shows with this one's Pink. Playing Busch Stadium, or not Busch Stadium, but the Ballpark Village in Busch Stadium. We were the first band to ever play on that stage.
Wow.
We were the first show they ever had at the new outdoor stage, which is a huge stage. It has a jumbotron above the stage, so our video feed played on the jumbotron above the stage, which is this.
Wow.
It was a hell of an experience playing that.
Wow, that's awesome.
And there was a lot of people there. That was a great time.
You got video of that?
We do, and I told you about the Birds Fest in Arkansas. We've done that once, and we're gonna do it again this summer. I just found out today we're gonna play both nights, the midnight set at Birds Fest. That's in Arkansas. It's with the band called the Swag, Grateful Dead tribute that puts on Birds Fest, and it's at a place called Birds Adventure Center, and it's basically a weekend festival. I think maybe Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and it's an entire weekend of bands and fun. Just a huge party, huge festival. There's a lot of people there, man. The first time we played there, I think we played in front of 2,500 people on a huge stage. There's fireworks. It's a good time. Another memorable gig that we did last summer was Swagstock 19, which was in near Springfield, Missouri. I can't think of the town, but a lot of people. Another festival. Fort Leonard Wood, that's right. We played on a small stage, a side stage on Friday night, and then Saturday night we played right before the Swag on the main stage on Saturday night. Those are both awesome gigs. Back to the bands. I forgot 2 bands that I was in that would devastate me if I didn't talk about this.
Right.
Circled Sun. I was in Circled Sun. It was an original band with Steve Campbell, Kevin Gann, and a girl named Amanda Ballard played bass. And that was my first original band, actually. We did all originals, I don't know what I'd call it, heavy metal, death metal type stuff, especially for its time. You know, it was about the time that Slipknot came out. So
nice.
it was kind of like that. And then after that thing fell apart. That was really fun. The Circled Sun thing, we played a few big shows. We traveled quite a bit, and we also played the Madison Theater once and did a few things. And when that thing fell apart, so Steve Campbell was the main guy, the main songwriter in Chicken Lab, and that kind of already took off, and I wasn't doing anything, and they asked me to be the drummer in Chicken Lab, and that was a very cool thing. Chicken Lab was a very cool thing. We did a lot. We really just wrote. We were writing an album for like over a year. We went out in Tremont and just worked hard at writing. We wrote this entire album. It's probably 6 songs, and they were all finished except for vocals. There's a couple songs that had vocals, but we never got it completely mixed, mastered vocals. But the album was awesome. I wish we would have finished it. So there's still talk of finishing it one day, actually.
Nice. Anytime soon, or?
There's been some talk lately. Yeah. Actually, we contacted Eric Nelson and asked him about it. So we'll see. Maybe someday. Young and in Yellow Snow, I met Gary Richrath from REO. Actually, we were playing in cahoots, and we always did really well there. We packed the place. We had a packed Saturday night crowd, and Gary Richrath from REO walked in there, and the owner came up there and was like, "Hey, this is," I told us who it was, and he's like, he wants to know if he can get up and play with you. So we took a break, and he's like, "Could you guys play?" I forget what song, a popular REO song that he had, something that he wrote or something. And so he's like, "Yeah, this is how it goes. Here's the chorus, here's the bridge. This is what we're gonna do." And I'm like, "Hell yeah, we'll do it." So we played an REO song with Gary Richrath. That's one of my favorite times.
Do you know what song it was?
I want to say "Take It on the Run," maybe, but I don't. It was one of the super popular, super hits we played with him in a packed crowd. It was an awesome experience.
Nice.
Another thing I did was I used to play downtown with Jeff Eaton and Baked a lot, and we played right by the Madison Theater. Well, in the like before some of these big bands would play, they'd be walking around town looking for something to do. They'd peek in the bar, and we'd be playing or setting up. We'd be playing. They'd come in there, or they'd see us, and we'd chat with them. They'd invite us over there backstage, or they would come after their show because we'd still be playing. They would come and ask to get in and set in with us. Well, the guitar player, maybe the drummer from Creed, came over, and we met him early that night. And they said, "Man, come over here and watch us." So we went in the back door, went in backstage with them, hung out with them before we played. We stood on stage and watched Creed play, and then one or two of them came over and sat in with us, Champs downtown.
Wow.
And this was when Creed was like just taking off. They just had their huge hit song on the radio, but we had no idea they would go on to be like, super famous.
The Creed.
Yeah, like in like maybe 2 years after that, they had the rock album of the year. They were like Nickelback famous at the time. So that was a very cool experience. Played shows with Mudvayne right before they were getting popular.
Right.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else. Maybe one time Greg Tribbett got up and played with a cover band of mine and sat in and played with us, but
that's pretty cool.
That's my claim to fame.
That's cool.
Down there, a lot of that stuff happened playing at Champs and being downtown all the time. We hung out with the people at the Madison and met a lot of them, the workers and stuff, so people would let us just walk in the back door. That was really cool. And then the wrestlers, WWE would come down to town. Well, then them wrestlers would come in there and get drunk and watch us play. The Rivermen, we got to be really good buddies with the Rivermen at one time, and we had all them Rivermen guys, young wild dudes from Canada that were, when they weren't being Rivermen, they were party animals. And that shit was always really fun. Met Tommy Chong down there.
Wow.
Met a lot of people down there at the Madison.
Wow.
That was very cool. Anytime a movie star or something would come to town, back in those days, downtown was popular. There was Jim's Steakhouse, which is still there, but just Big Al's, all them places, all the stars, anybody that came to town would end up down there, and they stayed at the Pier Marquette. So met a lot of people that way.
You ever have a total dumbass moment in front of a star?
Not really. I had a star really rubbed me wrong one time. I thought he was being an asshole, and it was like, God, it made me feel like an idiot. I seen Kenny Wayne Shepherd one time, and I think I was leaving right as he was getting off the stage, and his bus was quite a ways away. So when I seen him walking off the stage to his bus, I turned around, walked up to him, like, "Hey, you're awesome, man. That was a good show." And I put my hand out, and he looked at my hand and then walked right past me like I wasn't even there.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, what an asshole.
That's a dick moment.
And that was a dick moment. Yeah, no shit.